Welcome back to World Talks with me, Anna Kalczyńska. As Donald Trump is set to hold a phone conversation with Vladimir Putin, experts deliberate what exactly can we expect from the ongoing rapprochement between the US and Russia. On the backdrop of these discussions, questions are being asked regarding Belarus, Kremlin's staunch ally. What's next for Minsk? To discuss this, I'm joined by Anatol Kotau, Forum of Democratic Forces of Belarus. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Good evening.
So, following the latest meeting between Putin and Lukashenko, what's the outlook for Minsk geopolitical position?
Unfortunately for the regime and fortunately for Belarusians, the outcome of this visit was, I would say, below zero, because the main purpose of Lukashenko's trip to Moscow was to get money from Russia. And the main purpose of Mr. Putin to invite Lukashenko to Moscow on last week, that was hope that Lukashenko will help him to oppose the West, because that was the issue of Donald Trump's proposal of ceasing fire in Ukraine. And Lukashenko was not so happy to applaud the Russian stance on that. Mr. Putin tried to introduce, I would say, unacceptable conditions for the acceptance of this Donald Trump's proposal. And that's why he left Moscow without money. That's it. So he has not performed as well as Putin supposed, as he was looking for Lukashenko's support. So he left Moscow without money support for his future.
All right, but Alexander Lukashenko has been received with honors by Vladimir Putin. Steve Witkoff, the American envoy for the peace talks and looking to secure the ceasefire, had to wait 8 hours for the meeting between the two statesmen ends. Are we watching this as a political theatrum here, or is there really something more important behind the scenes? What is the role that Alexander Lukashenko plays in the plan of Vladimir Putin?
Yes, American envoy had to wait, but there are different information for how long, because, for example, also the president of US commenting this issue told that that was not so long for his special envoy to wait for Mr. Putin. On the other hand, Lukashenko was used like a puppet to play with, and Putin played two games at the same time. On the one hand, he tried to make Lukashenko, I would say, extremely supportive for his ideas of not accepting the American proposal. On the other hand, he tried to show to special envoy from United States of America, Mr. Witkoff, that he has to wait. It's, I would say, normal Putin's game, because he tries this way to a little bit humiliate his opponents or his counterparts, even when he has some negotiations. And he is known for that. But this time, actually, we'll see. Tomorrow there will be a call, as President Trump announced a call between Mr. Trump and Mr. Putin. We will see the outcomes. On the other hand, Lukashenko was given, I would say, good reception, but no money. And this was also some sort of the game of Putin, because he knew that he knows actually that Lukashenko still needs money, but the only thing Lukashenko received during that visit is the delay of the payments on the existing debts, and
Yes, but
that's it. He didn't receive real money.
Yes, he didn't receive real money, but he asked Vladimir Putin to build another nuclear power plant on the soil of Belarus. So my question to you is now, with the upcoming conversation between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, what does Lukashenko bet on? Peace or war? What's his interest in this negotiation?
Well, Lukashenko has found himself in a very tricky situation because he tries to play his own game with the United States of America. And if we look and listen for all he told during past 2 or 3 weeks, he tries to avoid the criticism towards Mr. Trump. And he tries to convince also that Mr. Trump is for peace and Lukashenko is for deal with Mr. Trump. So that's why he was, I would say, not very decisive in Moscow in supporting Russia, because he wants to have money from Russia. He wants to have good relationship with Mr. Putin. For him, he depend on him, on whom he depends on. But on the other hand, he tries to make a deal with US to get rid of sanctions, at least from US sanctions. So he has to, I would say, balance between these two powers, and that's why he cannot count on anything, because he is not enough pro-Russian. He was not enough pro-Russian in Moscow, and he is definitely not enough pro-American anyhow. So Lukashenko tries to be on the side of United States America, but not to quarrel, not to argue with Mr. Putin. If America is for peace, then Lukashenko is for peace. If America will decide to put more pressure on Russia after these talks, which is totally possible, because it's the way how Mr. Trump get used to hold negotiations, then he will be, I would say, in very, very difficult situation, because he will have to solidarize with Russia. He will be in more difficult situation, and he needs US to balance Belarusian Russian relationship or his relationship with Mr. Putin. So he is really in very, very difficult situation right now, because he cannot choose for 100% any side of this negotiation process. He needs money from Russia, and he needs deal with United States of America, which is impossible to have at the same time.
Right, we could discuss who's in a more difficult position, whether it's Alexander Lukashenko or Viktor Orban, probably. But that's a subject of another discussion. So now I suggest we listen to Radosław Sikorski, who was asked today about the possible European funding for Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty after cancelling the funds by the American side and Donald Trump's administration.
We will take a look at at what can be done. So one avenue would be to, and I talked about it, would be to multiply the budget of the European Endowment for Democracy. But Minister Lipavsky even talked about buying the two outfits. We are at the stage of brainstorming. But clearly, these are worthy institutions whose mission should continue.
Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. How important is the content of those two institutions and two outlets for the Belarusian society?
I guess it's very important not only for Belarusian society, but for any society which suffers from dictatorship regimes all over the world. And that was actually the initial purpose of Radio Free Europe and the Voice of America outlets. Unfortunately, here we see that Donald Trump's administration tries to cut the costs in favor of, I would say, isolation of United States of America from the other world, to be concentrated only on American internal affairs, and the foreign media policy, which was spreading the say unforged information, free information all over the world, is now being sacrificed. Unfortunately, it's sad but true. I hope that European Union, which is more concerned about disseminating the good information all over the Eastern countries, all over the European countries lying to the west, east of Warsaw, will take this challenge and will save these outlets in order to help them to assist to continue their, I would say, activities, which helped one day to beat the Soviet Union empire.
Thank you so much, Anatol Kotau, Forum of Democratic Forces of Belarus. Thank you for joining us this evening here on TVP World.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us. But please stay tuned to TVP World. We're coming up with more features and more updated information.